Periscope. It's a lot with all these devices. And then I'll sign in with my personal Facebook page in just a moment. So, guys, we're going to talk about why successful salon professionals believe in mentoring, branding, and mastery. Why successful salon professionals believe in mentoring, branding, and mastery. And I'm going to do a quick introduction for those of you who are popping in. Thank you guys on Instagram. Maybe do us a favor so that you guys who are joining each other on the broadcast can kind of know who you're rocking out with. Put your name in the comments, what state you rock out in, and whether you're a hairstylist or a salon owner. Before we get started this morning, I'm going to do a quick introduction. For those of you who've never, ever had an opportunity to experience me before, I'm Tanya Wilson-Cherry, beauty business consultant and certified life coach. I operate in the space of transformation. I help exceptional hairstylists and salon professionals overcome limiting beliefs that keep them from, really creating amazing brands as they are creating a lifestyle that they love. And so my take on, what I do in the industry is somewhat different from just the ordinary salon coach, but it is for the very things that we're going to talk about on today. And so I'm going to kind of walk you guys through some things that are transpiring for me behind my business. I always think that's maybe one of the best ways for those of you who follow me or have followed me for quite some time. You'll be able to see when you think about it the different transitions that have taken place in my business, and they are all purpose driven. Somebody put that in the comments. They are all purpose driven. They're intentional. They're strategic. They're part of the plan. And as we're talking about planning, if you followed me for any number of years, I have a video dates back about 7 years ago now. I talked about vision a lot. And I still talk about vision because it is the missing link to many of your careers and actually creating the business and lifestyle you love. Oftentimes is missing vision, right? And vision is a clear picture. Purpose driven, absolutely. Vision is a clear picture of where you want to head. And once you are amazingly clear on that, now let me say this, it does not mean that your vision cannot change over time. I want you guys to understand that. It doesn't mean that your vision can't change over time. But what vision gives you is direction on what to do with your time. And so as we journey along in our hairstylist career or our career as salon professionals, what we desire may change. How we grow and evolve may, have us in a space where we feel like this isn't quite what I want to do anymore. And one of my last broadcasts, I talked about the salon industry being the industry that allows you to do it your way. It really does. There's a lot of flexibility in our industry. It's a lot of space for us to evolve. And one, I believe, is because we deal so closely with people. And two, I believe because we are a very creative industry. And so we have a lot of room to play with. But many people in the industry only they rest like in this one space, almost as if there's a wall or, something holding them from doing things a little different, right? And so I'm going to talk about 4 spaces. Omika, good morning. Thank you for joining, dear. That a successful salon industry professional should think about and also decide which level they want to operate in as it relates to their career, and vision is going to help them to do that. Hey, darling. So we're going to talk about the generalist, and if someone feels like scribing, that would be super amazing on this morning. We're going to talk about the generalist, the specialist, the expert, and the master. The master by way of authority. We're going to talk about those 4 things on this morning, and why, if you watch the most successful people in our industry, they usually move past the level of being a generalist. I'm going to go through and explain what each of those are as it relates to, maybe I'll think of some careers that you guys can generally think of, and then I'll align them with a hairstylist career. Hey, Miss Rhonda, how are you, dear? And so we're going to be talking about the generalist, the specialist, the expert, and the master. And all of these also affect how you profit in the industry. They also affect how you profit in the industry. So when you think of a generalist, that's when we become a licensed professional, right? So as a licensed hairstylist or licensed cosmetologist, we're a generalist. When we first get out of school, or our first few years, 9 times out of 10 we're generalists. So we do cut, color, perms, weaves, we do it all, right? We're generalists. We really don't specialize in anything. Do you guys get where I'm going? Tap the screen if you guys understand that, what a generalist is as it relates to us in the salon industry. And this is why successful industry professionals understand that branding, mentoring, and mastery is important, right? The successful salon professional, one, branding is how you set yourself apart in the marketplace. So I don't even know the number of licensed cosmetologists that there are in the world or in your specific city, but you guys can just think about it. If you go maybe a mile or less, a quarter of a mile, some of you, there may be another hairstylist business right beside your business, 2 doors down. So there are tons of hairstylists and hair salons everywhere, right? And so for the person who's still operating in the space of being a generalist, that's a lot of competition, right? So when you operate in the space of just being a generalist, it's just so much competition. There's nothing specific about you, right, that makes you stand out from all the thousands of other licensed cosmetologists. This is one of the reasons I specifically teach my clients about branding and niching out and becoming experts, right? So I have a program called 3D Success, Mentorship, and Branding Bootcamp. Those are 2 areas that I specialize in, right? Branding and mentoring, because those things help to set me apart from other people who do similar, right? Because they don't do the same things that I do, but who do similar things than I do, right? And so this is why, you guys, it's so important for us to take time to reflect about our business. And I'm in one of those modes of reflection in my business now. I actually shared where I found this photo album. This is before I even knew about, hey Sean, how are you, darling? About vision boards, right? I had this photo album where I was tearing pictures out of magazines and placing them inside the photo album as I was developing, how I wanted my salon to look. And I was, cleaning my cabinet out with my photos and pictures, and I found it. And I was like, wow, it's amazing how, because that was vision. You guys with me, right? That was vision. And it's amazing how a lot of the pictures that were in that photo album actually became, the foundational look or feel of my place. But it's because I had vision. This is before I really understood what vision boards and things like this really were. And so I teach my clients to really get specific. Many hairstylists and salon owners stay so general in their salon career. So let's think about this. So you guys know that we have doctors and then we have specialists, right? We have doctors and then we have specialists. So whenever you go to, or even if you go to the dentist, if you have a specific thing, they're going to send you to an orthodontist, somebody who specializes in what you do. Now, most of the time, the copay for, your primary care physician is less than the copay for the specialist. Somebody tap the screen if you understand where I'm going here, right? Because many of you are wondering, like, why do I feel so unfulfilled in my career? And chances are really great. Hey Gary, how are you? Renee Travaris, thank you for joining. Many of you are still operating in the lane of just a generalist. Remember, I said a generalist, as it relates to us in the industry, would just be, those of us who have gone and become licensed cosmetologists. It's tons of us everywhere, children, everywhere. So we're still operating in the space of just a generalist. But when your client who wants short hair or who wants color or something in particular, she's going to go and find someone who specializes in that particular thing, right? And so here, let me use myself again as an example. So I specialize in branding and mentoring. But that doesn't mean there aren't other things that I provide for my clients, right? It doesn't mean there aren't other things. But those are things that I decided, one, remember I said there's a generalist, a specialist, an expert, and master, the mastery level. Those are things that I've decided to master, right? To master. One thing that I realized, those who are successful salon professionals, they value mentoring and they value branding. Now, at one stage in their career, they may not even understand that they need that. But I understand that there comes a time where those individuals who are really looking to do major things in their career, not just be general, they will seek out someone who can help them understand who they are as a brand, and they'll need mentoring, someone who's already, gone the mile. One of the grave mistakes I feel we make is, we allow fear, which is our theme for this month, facing fears, right? We allow fear to keep us small. I'm going to say that once again. We allow fear to keep us small. If you guys are getting anything from the broadcast, be sure to tap the screen for hearts. Show your girl a little love. There are share capabilities on each platform. I ask that you share with someone else. I'm sure this will be valuable to another industry professional. Hey Sheila, how are you, dear? Thank you for joining. And so one of the things we have a tendency to do is we want to go and learn from people who are on the same level that we're on. I've seen it. Like, I've seen amazing people who, and I believe it's fear that won't allow them to do something bigger than the level that they're on. It's not that they don't go and, participate in things or, go and be educated. Hey, Dominique, how are you, dear? It's just that they choose to stay in such a small space as to, where they allow themselves to be elevated. But a successful salon professional understands the value of mentorship, and mentorship is from someone who's already gone the mile. And a lot of times we're looking to people who have not done what we're looking to do to teach us. And I say sometimes it could be ego, because sometimes that means that we're still the smartest person in the room. Sometimes it means that we still have an opportunity, to get a little affirmation. But successful salon professionals understand that they can only be elevated to the point of the person who is the smartest person in the room. And if they are the smartest individual, that's the only level they get to go on, to the space they get to operate in. So, okay, as far as a generalist, remember I said a licensed cosmetologist, and then we have the specialist. And when you guys are hearing these levels, I want you to think about your income. I want you to think about your revenue, which is something that I don't know, we skip over it. We do a lot of things, but you guys need to set an amount that you want to make in your business, and not something that's just really easy and simple for you to achieve. Because if you set your goal higher than what you think is possible, then it causes you to stretch and grow. So if you are a six-figure earner and you want to hit the $500,000 mark, you guys know in order to do that, it's going to require you to stretch. It may even require you to move from being a generalist, just a licensed cosmetologist, to a specialist, right? Someone who has a focus on cutting hair or coloring hair, weave, healthy hair. You guys get that? Tap the screen if you guys understand what I'm saying. And so the specialist moves from, I'm just the all-around stylist. Now, I do think you guys should have an appreciation for knowing how to do several different things, right? But it's impossible. It's impossible, guys, to become a master in all of them. It's impossible to become a master in all of them. And masters get paid more than generalists. Masters get paid more than generous. Layla and Keisha, thank you for joining on Instagram. I appreciate you guys. Masters get paid more than generalists, right? Now, and let me say this, because I do understand that I'm speaking to a specific audience. I'm speaking to highly driven salon professionals who have really big goals, and they're completely committed to getting it done. And these are the steps that they're going to need to take to make it happen, right? So that's who I'm speaking to. So it may not register for everyone who comes on to watch this. If it's registering for you, tap the screen for hearts. Let me know that what I'm sharing with you is registering for you. It's keys, right, to things that you want to do in your career. And then we have the expert, right? The expert picks a lane. The expert picks a lane. So maybe some of those things they decided to specialize in, like a person who cuts hair or colors hair, or, you know, does weave or healthy hair. So maybe those were some of the things that the specialist decided to specialize in. Because you guys know there's like at least 20 things we can do as a licensed cosmetologist. We can do nails, cut, color, weaves, front lace. We can do facials, right? We can do makeup. It's several, right? But the specialist picks a few things that they become an expert at. So the specialist gains a deep knowledge of certain topics, and they concentrate primarily on particular subjects. That's what the specialist does. They concentrate primarily on particular subjects. So one of the things I do inside my mentorship and branding course, I teach them to define a lane, right? Because we're talking about people who really want to gain dominion. And I'm going to give you guys, it's amazing because when I looked up the definition of mastery, which is the one that's at the top of the ladder, it talked about dominion. So that spoke to me as a kingdom entrepreneur, because we were called to gain dominion. Y'all don't hear me. This is a special message, for an exceptional group of individuals. And so if we're looking to really rest in the space that God really desires us to be in, it's the space of mastery. It's the space of dominion. And so I'll share more about that in a moment. So remember, specialists' deep knowledge of certain topics, they concentrate primarily on particular subjects or activities, and they become highly skilled. But then there's the next level, where a person becomes the expert. And normally at this level, what happens is this person takes some of those things that they begin to specialize in, and they get even more clear and even more defined. So I'll use myself for an example. So, hey Stacy, how are you, darling? So I teach hairstylists and salon owners, right, how to build amazing brands and create lifestyles they love. But I don't teach just any hairstylist or any salon owner, right? Because as I move up my chain, I need to get even more clear and define who it is that I'm speaking to. Because not everyone wants to go to the level that I teach stylists. So one of the things I do is I help them get really, really clear on who they are as a brand. I help them create multiple streams of revenue from things that they've specialized in, so that they can work less behind the chair and still have revenue coming in. Doesn't mean they no longer work behind the chair, but I help them to position themselves to be able to earn more based on some specific things or unique skill sets that they've specialized in. So not everybody wants that, right? That's not the stage that everyone is in, but it's the stage that my business is in and who I attract. So they really want to do amazing things. They're in a stage of where they're evolving, and they're really looking to smash it, right? And so one of the things that successful hairstylists and salon owners know, which is why they believe in branding, mentoring, and mastery, is that it increases their ability to earn income, right? It puts them in a place where they're no longer trading dollars for hours all the time, where they have they're able to leverage, and they have revenue streams that are working for them. Cheryl Singleton Booker, how are you? Thank you for joining. Where they leverage and they have things working for them based on their level of expertise, because that's where we're at now. We talked about the generalist, we talked about the specialist, and now we're talking about the expert, right? These are different lanes, and your income is going to reflect which area, hey darling, you decide to operate in. Many of you, it's time to move from the space of being just a generalist where you do everything. That's if you're looking for new income streams, or for your salon industry career to grow. Tamika, hey darling. So the expert in this space, they've picked the lane out of those things they decided to specialize in, and 9 times out of 10 they begin teaching. PDK Beauty Joy today, how are you? Thank you for joining on Instagram. They begin teaching in those specific fields, right? This is creating another revenue stream. This is moving them from the position where they're just stuck behind the chair, or they're only making money based on the number of clients they can do behind the chair. They remove some of the limitations that are limiting them in their finances, right? In their ability to create income and revenue, and create a lifestyle that they love, where they still have time to dedicate to family or friends or whatever it is that they are desiring to do. And so then the next level is mastery, right? Mastery. So mastery is where you really begin to teach in a perspective lane, and you don't have to do nearly as much marketing anymore, right? This is when people are beginning to seek you out without you necessarily having to market for those opportunities. You guys get that? And so these are different levels that successful salon professionals, they may not have categorized these before, but when they look back on their career, they can see where they, rest in either one of those particular lanes. And so one of the things that I do is affirmations. Here's, like one of my little affirmation cards here. And as I was looking through some things over the weekend, hey Carla, how are you? Because I'm up leveling my wealth frequency, and I talk about this a lot with my private clients, and the level that I need to operate on personally, right, in order to meet the desires that I have for my business. And so one of my, and I normally don't share this, I did share this with my private group this morning, but I normally don't share like all of my declarations, but I'm going to share this one because I want you guys to understand how important it is that you have a picture or something written down that is a constant reminder of what it is that you really desire for your hairstylist career and your salon business, because it's so easy to get in routine and forget, what that thing was, that you desire. So one of the things I have written down, and I had not seen this card in a while, right? It says, I am attracting millionaires daily who find value in me, invest in me and my business, and offer me opportunities that pay me multiple thousands of dollars weekly, right? This is one of my I am statements or affirmations or declarations. I'm attracting millionaires daily who find value in me, invest in me and my business, and offer me opportunities that pay me multiple thousands of dollars weekly. So as I was reading down the card and I ran upon, that particular declaration, I was reminded of someone who reached out to me about 3 weeks ago, guys, who is a millionaire with opportunities that will really take me and my business to the next level. And so I am statements. I don't want you guys to think that you can just, make these declarations and things begin appearing in your life. But if you know which level you want to operate on, remember we said the generalist, the specialist, the expert, or the mastery level, the level of authority, then you know that you create a vision and you reverse engineer it so that you're positioning yourself for those different levels. So that's what you're constantly doing behind the scenes. And successful salon professionals, they understand this. They know this, right? Layla says she keeps affirmations on sticky notes on her wall in the restroom to look at every morning. That's awesome, Layla. And the thing about affirmations is they're reminders also, because I read one of them and I was like, I ain't been doing that. I hadn't seen the card in a while. I was like, I haven't been doing that. So they're reminders of how we need to reposition ourselves in order to actually operate in that space. You guys get that? So that's what, so when you're creating these I am statements or affirmations or things that you desire, or maybe you want to move from the generalist to the specialist in the salon industry, or from the specialist to the expert, or maybe you want to move from the expert to the master, where people are just seeking you out. You no longer really have to do a lot of marketing, right? Your declaration should align with what it is that you want to do. Your affirmations should, because they'll remind you. They're like, you're not doing what's necessary in order to position yourself for that thing. And you guys know, remember I used the doctor earlier, that we can have a physician, and then if we have something major going on, they send us to a specialist. And the copay for your primary care physician is cheaper than the specialist, right? Because oftentimes when they bring a specialist in and you get that hospital bill back or whatever, it's more, right? You had to pay the specialist, the expert, the master. Hey, Bella, how are you, darling? You had to pay them more, right? Because they got really specific and gained a lot. You guys tap the screen if you're getting some. You guys are quiet. Maybe you're just absorbing what I'm sharing. If you're just absorbing what I'm sharing, y'all tap the screen. Let me know you're still with me. I still see the numbers, so I know you guys are hanging on. But if it's registering to you, if you guys understand what I'm saying, this is what successful salon industry professionals understand. They understand that they need branding. Branding sets them apart in the marketplace. They understand that they need mentoring, because mentoring is what helps you move. One of the things I do in my 3D Success Mentorship and Branding Bootcamp is I help people get clear on who they are as a brand, and I help them to define the things that they need to specialize in, right? So they can move from those different stages of being just a generalist. This is where we just a hairstylist. All of us are licensed stylists, right? So we're clumped all into one category as a licensed hairstylist, right? But when you begin to separate yourself or create a lane for yourself, it's when you've decided, I'm going to be a specialist. There are going to be, 1 to 3 things that I'm going to. Remember I said a specialist gets deep knowledge of certain topics, and they concentrate primarily on a particular subject or activity. So that's where I help them to decide, based on their history and what they've done, what's going to really be a great lane for them to become a specialist in. And depending on what their goals and aspirations are, and many of the stylists that I work with have really major goals, like astronomical profit goals for their business, because of how they want to create opportunities for their family and how they want to give, right? How they want to be in a position to give majorly and do major things for people. And you guys know that the poor can't feed the poor. The poor can't feed the poor. So for all of the desires that we have, where we want to give on a bigger level, from a bigger space, we can only do that from a certain economic space where we're at a certain level in our finances, right? We can't, it don't make sense, right? We got to think this thing through. I have a private group where it's not on Facebook or anything of that nature, but these people work with me for an entire year. And one of the big things that we're going to be focusing on in our first session is going to be our wealth frequency. Somebody put that in the comments. Our wealth frequency. You know, what level we're really operating in, what level of vibration we're operating in as it relates to our wealth. Do we have dreams that aren't written down on paper, that we haven't really strategized out, that we're not even in a space with people who can help us get there, because the dream that we have is so much bigger than the people that we're around, right? And so, you know, one of the advantages of that is because they're very highly driven individuals with really large goals and dreams, and we bring in experts and things of that nature who, and I myself, coach from that perspective, right? Because once we shift that, and then we understand that there are different things that we have to do to align our careers in order to get there, you know, the whole game changes. But one of the big things as well is there is the level of your consciousness and your frequency continues to grow when you're like so connected to people. Yes, Natasha, wealth frequency. I see you guys putting it in the comments. When you're aligned with people who think the same, and then you're connected with people who've already done it, right? And so you guys heard me say one of my affirmations was, I'm attracting millionaires daily who find value in me, invest in me and my business, and offer me opportunities that pay me multiple thousands of dollars weekly, right? And so I don't only say that affirmation for the fact of the thousands, of the multiple thousands of dollars weekly. And I shared with you guys that 3 weeks ago, when I look back at the card, I realized that 3 weeks ago, I had just gotten one of these opportunities from someone who's a multiple millionaire who reached out organically to me. But it wasn't because, you know, they just picked me. It's because I positioned myself. You guys don't hear me. It's because I positioned myself. It's because I decided long before they reached out to me. I didn't know who those people were going to be, what I chose for my individual career, who I would need to work with in order to make that happen. You guys don't hear me, right? And so remember, I said many of you lack vision. Many of you are, you know, choosing to make very small investments that are not going to get you in the position that you desire to be in your career. They're just not going to get you there because the capacity for the people to pour that back into you, it's not there, right? And so I was saying that not only did I say that specific affirmation or declaration because of the income that's going to come in, but because if my goals are as large as millionaire goals, then I'll need millionaire strategies. Y'all don't hear me. I'll need millionaire connections, right? Because they have friends that open doors for you. Now, this also means that I have to operate, y'all don't hear me, at a different space, at the highest version of myself, because they're not just picking anybody, right? And they're not going to give opportunities to people who could mess up what they already have going on, which means I have to already be in agreement that I'm going to operate at the highest version of myself, because that's where I began to attract people from. Y'all don't hear me. And so one of the biggest things that transpired for me, one was to recognize my value in the marketplace. Now, for those of you who are on with me, and I see you guys affirming what I'm saying, I'm so glad, because I'm not sharing this from a place of anything other than a teachable moment. Not about me, more so about what I know many of you who are exceptional salon careers are desiring, but what you aren't doing, right? Like your desire and your alignment is completely different. Your desire and your alignment is completely different. Bella says, I'm going to operate at the highest version of myself, right? And so there are some things that successful salon owners understand, and salon professionals, hairstylists, understand about branding, mentoring, and mastery that the average salon owner or salon professional does not understand. I have one client in particular. She's in this particular program that I have. When I say she's investing, like not just with me, it's a nice size investment that these individuals make, right? But the atmosphere is irreplaceable, right? The energy that's created from such high level thinkers and the experts that visit us, and the even one of the events that we privately do together keeps them in a space where they stay operating at their highest level, and then they are in positions where if I was to refer them, I feel comfortable. You guys get that? If I was to refer them, I feel comfortable with the referral, right? One, I've gotten an opportunity to know them on another level. But two, I'm comfortable that when I refer them to these people who I think highly of, who have opportunities, I feel okay, right? I feel okay doing that because I know what level, what frequency that they're operating at, and I know that when they go to the opportunity, they're going to operate at the highest version of themselves. And so every single day, all of the time, guys, we are attracting situations and people into our lives. And people don't just get picked. I mean, I wish, the world was like that, right? But even favor comes because we're deserving of it. People say favor isn't fair, right? That's not in the Bible, children, right? Because much of the favor that you receive is because of the alignment that you did prior to the favor over your life. God's favor, so let's get that clear. Most of that does come, right? Because it may not be favor, it may be grace. Because a lot of times we get grace not necessarily because of how we're positioned, right? But favor is different. It's completely different. And so I wanted to share with you guys who have really big, goals. When you think about operating at the highest version of yourself, you're also thinking about the type of investments that you're willing to make, right? If you're still making small investments, then that is the level that you will get a return on. It's just what it is, right? It's a revelation that I, made for myself, that I found out. I think one of the things about branding and really specializing, deciding to become an expert or a master, is it helps you to eliminate some of the smaller things that you're doing that are really unnecessary for where it is that you desire to go. Because most oftentimes when you've invested on another level with someone who's gone the mile, they're going to give you stuff that you can skip some of the stuff that you're doing, right? Sometimes they open a door that will put you in a room that you could have never done on your own, or that would have taken you forever. So we have the generalist. Remember I said the generalist is the licensed cosmetologist. We all fit right on in that pot together, right? But then as you begin to separate yourself, you decide to become a specialist. You pick 2 to 3 things, become really, really good at it, which is I take my clients through a journey, right? Where we really get clear on who they are as a brand so that they can position themselves to attract the right people, whether it's staff, whether it's opportunities, whether it's clients, where they are attracting people to them for where it is that they want to go, right? We always think future, and our business and our brand, if we are not allowing it to die, should always be in a space of evolution and growing and change, always. And many people remain stuck for long periods of time because they are unwilling to change. And so I had 3 more days for my mentorship and branding bootcamp early opportunity, I'd like to invite those of you who you know that your dreams are bigger than where you are now, and you're looking for someone to mentor you, someone to help you really find clarity on who you are as a brand so you can move through those different stages, generalist, specialist, expert, to the point of mastery, right? Because it's a journey, but branding really helps you define who you are, who your ideal customer is, and things that you need to do to position yourselves. I watch my clients who've taken and applied and implemented, really define a space for themselves, right? So if someone was to need someone in their city for a particular thing, they would be the person that people would seek after, right? Because we dominate city, state, global. That's another thing I teach in my classes, but I invite you guys. We have 3 more days for the early opportunity for 3D Success Mentorship and Branding Bootcamp. It is the last time I will offer it this year, and it's the last time it will be offered at the investment price that it is now. You can go to renewfullcircle.com/3D-success, or you can just go to renewfullcircle.com and click the tab that says 3D Success Mentorship and Branding Bootcamp. Hey, Sharonda, darling, how are you? The course is $997. There are 3 pay options for that course. You can make a one-time payment of $997. You can pay, I think it's $273, and then in 30 days you pay 3 more reoccurring payments of $273. Or you can pay $157 down, and then I think 30 days you begin like reoccurring fees of maybe $78. Don't quote me on it, guys, right? You have to go to the link and check it out. But my clients who've taken 3D Success Mentorship and Branding Bootcamp, they understand the value of branding on a different level than they ever understood it before. I watch them really become specialists in specific things because, one, we go over what their vision is, what they truly desire. And many of them desire to, exit from behind the chair. And so I take them on a journey. We strategize a journey that's going to get them there. And so they become specialists and experts in particular areas. And then they become masters, right? And guys, never, ever, ever underestimate, my Instagram went out on me, the power of connections. Never underestimate the power of connections. Do any of you have questions while we're on today? If I could get you guys to do me a favor, if you just joined on, or if you joined us a little late, it's not too late to share the broadcast out with another exceptional salon industry professional. We talked about why successful salon professionals believe in branding, mentoring, and mastery, and what it actually does for positioning them for different income levels in their life and in their business. You guys got any questions before we log off? Again, for those of you joining us for 3D Success Mentorship and Branding Bootcamp, you can go to renewfullcircle.com and click the tab that says 3D Success Mentorship and Branding Bootcamp. We only have 3 more days for the early opportunity, where you all actually get bonuses. So the course doesn't start immediately, but you can immediately start my 7-day profit generator course, followed up by a 4-week masterclass. Those are bonuses. That profit generator course is normally $97, and the 4-week masterclass that you get as a bonus is normally $297, I believe. And so those are included as bonuses for being fast action takers. You can begin starting some things before we start live. It is a 12-week transformational course, and I invite you to join us. But even more so, I invite you to really think about what it is that you really desire from this career as a salon owner or salon professional, and then decide what area you're willing to invest in yourself to position yourself to move into. Thank you for sharing the video, Bella. There were several comments. I'm going to see if I can go back. And so I see you guys saying wealth frequency. That's good. Bella says, I love that you said people are making poor investments expecting big returns. That's not smart if you want a big return. It just, I mean, it doesn't really make sense, guys. Of course, um, I mean, it's not like we don't get an A for effort, right? But does it make sense for what it is that you really desire for your business? Does it really make sense? Like, how much do you really think is going to transpire when you only make small investments on, on yourself and your business? And then it all depends on what your vision really is. Bella says, I'm going to operate at the highest version of myself. Saw something else. And Bella says, thank you, Tanya, for sharing your gift and experience with us. You're so welcome. You're so welcome, guys. So that's my take on today. I hope to see probably 3 of you guys who were on this morning joining us inside 3D Success Mentorship and Branding Bootcamp. I'm just picking a number that came to mind, maybe based on the people that I saw coming on. Miss Rhonda says she enjoyed it. Thank you, Miss Rhonda. I appreciate you guys. And so I want us to all raise our level of consciousness about what it is that we're really setting out to do and whether we're really positioning ourselves and aligning ourselves to make that happen. I want you guys to begin not just talking about like, I want to have 10 people in my salon, or, I want to service 20 clients a day. I want you guys to begin putting major numbers attached to what you want to do in your career. And then you can align and look at what you're doing to see if it makes sense, right? To see if you need to shift, or if you need to connect with another expert, right? Or master, in order to actually make that happen and see your profits and your shifts, your transformational shifts, quicker, sooner, faster. You guys have a super, super amazing day. I wasn't going to come on today. I told you guys I wasn't going to come on for the next few Mondays, but I decided to pop on with this message. It came to mind, and I hope that it blesses you. And I will see you guys again on Wednesday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll be back on again. Be sure it's not too late. You can still share it out.